You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net as well as cbgtv.com, plus their social media locations. I'm Al Graham, and joining me when she arrives is my joint host, Tamara Cartwright. Unfortunately, Tamara is on the way home from work. She's got this job that she really enjoys, but unfortunately, it overlaps when we start our show here because of the different time zones, and that's understandable. So every once in a while, she just arrives probably about 15 minutes into the broadcast, and you'll see her shortly. But in the meantime, before she gets here, and I'll bring in our guest before she does, but before she gets here, I just wanted to just talk a little bit about the fact that today I was out walking my dog out in the woods on the trail out there. And I come to the realization that the Pace Radio Show is 10 years old. We've been doing this for 10 years, not in video, obviously. That's how the radio got part of the name. But the first 9 years was all radio, and so we've done it for, like I said, 10 years. And at that time, there didn't seem to be a lot of the cannabis podcasts that were on the radio. So it was nice to be able to help bring a voice to the patients at that time, especially back then when cannabis wasn't legalized and people weren't always so upfront about the cannabis use, and so it was people who spoke up, and more people spoke up, and and as we know, things here, especially in Canada, and we're seeing around the world, things are changing. So 10 years ago, when the show was started, it was actually the launch date for the first program was October the 21st. So we're not exactly to that 10-year exact date, but we're not far from it. So October the 21st, 2013 was the first debut of the Pace Radio Show. The first two shows that we launched were featured the joint hosts that were going to be on the program, because there was four joint hosts, and we launched at timeforhemp.com down in the US, down in the USA down there, and Casper Leach, and Casper had been involved in the cannabis community down there for several years, and it was good that he gave us the opportunity to launch a program after I had helped him out as a joint host occasionally before then, so he had a good idea who I was and what I was doing. So that first year we started with Owen Smith and Keith Fagan out west, and along with Chantel Oreo and Debbie Soltz-Giffen, who was represented the east. We had two broadcasts a week at that time, a Monday and a Wednesday broadcast. So two of them, we had rotation that was going on. So it worked out really good where they weren't required every week. Everybody, people were busy. Owen Smith, as you know, he was involved in the big court case that made changes here in our cannabis laws and really helped patients. Keith Fagan, he was a big, huge activist, advocate out there from Calgary 420. Rest in peace, Keith. He was big, as I said, well known within the cannabis community. Chantel, she was from Quebec, so it gives us, we had out west, BC representative, Calgary representative. Chantel was in Quebec, gives us a look out from things there and guests from that area. And she was a musician, and we used some of her music back then, and I still have it now on the programming. So it was good, as well as Debbie Stoltz-Giffen, leading down there in Nova Scotia with Mom, Maritime Representative for Medical Marijuana. Been doing a great job. She was with us for the first 5 years here on the network, and is still involved here in the network. In the background on things. So it's good that these people got us started. Also along the line, just quickly after that, Allison Murden joined us, and Allison at the time, she was heavy into LEAP, which is Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. She was a public speaker, spoke to governments at all levels, involved in the rallies and the protests and stuff like that. And she got involved politically. I said not only speaking at different levels of government, but also ran for, I believe it was the provincial, the New Democrat Party in her area. And she's still out there doing all this stuff. And now I'm calling her a mushroom advocate as well, because she's right into the patient's end of getting access to medicinal mushrooms, or medicinal psilocybin, or however you want to call it. Also back then, some of the guests that we had here on the network was cannabis lawyer Alan Young, Jason Wilcox with Cannabis Coalition, Cannabis Rights Coalition, involved with the Auer decision, and so much more. Adam Scorgi. Who's Adam Scorgi? He's a film documentary maker, and he produced 2 well-known cannabis documentaries that you might know, called The Union and The Culture High as well. It was great to have him on the program back then. Bob Herb for Herb. He was a lottery winner who got involved in the cannabis community and helped a lot of advocates and organizations and stuff back then. I still got my Herb for Herb or Herb for Herb t-shirt. Prohibition doesn't work. Never has. Hanging in my closet there, that I still wear. Ted Smith back then, and he's still now. He's actually scheduled to be on the show next week. So Ted's been here for a long time helping out. Patrick Redbeer Vrolick, he's a past guest. He was a guest of Keith's, as well as Watermelon, well-known advocate out there in BC for years and years. A friend of mine by the name of Steve Bacon. Steve, I haven't seen actually personally, but see him on Facebook all the time in these last few years. But in the beginning, he was there all the time. I talked to him all the time. He was actually the first person who come up to me and told me that cannabis was a benefit to my Crohn's disease. He was the very first person, and I was delighted and looked further from there. So, but as far as history and that over the last 10 years, I think every once in a while I'm going to slip something in and just have a little history lesson with some of the guests that we've had here on the broadcast, and we'll just go from there, see what happens. All right. Well, I think it's time. I'm just checking to see if my guest is in his seat. You just never know, right? Of course, after that, I gotta have a drink. Okay. Well, at this time, I introduce our guest for tonight's program. He's a business owner, and he's a patient, and he's helping patients. And we like to say, welcome to the Pace Radio Show, Anthony Foster, the Hamilton Vape. How you doing, Anthony?
Welcome. Well, you mean welcome back? Welcome back. It's been a while.
Yes.
Man. Wow.
Yes, we have come across each other over the years, doing advocacy and seeing each other at events. So we got to know each other that way. We don't hang around outside of all this, but we hang around when we go to the events and always have a good conversation, chit chat on the program.
Yeah. And I'm always glad to get on the mic with you. You know that, right? So. You're usually walking around with a mic, and so I remember always that. Like, and it was most of the time we were talking about this just a bit ago was the Global Marijuana March, We used
Correct.
to go to the Global Marijuana March at Queen's Park, and oh wow, I love. Hey, if you guys haven't been to the Global Marijuana March, you guys missed out.
Oh, I'll tell you, yeah, eh? It was
Unless they're coming back. Are they coming? Are we doing? Are they doing it?
I haven't heard anything for this year. My understanding there was something a little bit last year. It may have to, basically start again from sort of, at least the day is known, the event is known, but it may have to grow again as far as in population. Before it was always a fight for cannabis legalization. Now people might say, well, we've got cannabis legalized. But you and I both know, and many other advocates know, just because cannabis is legalized doesn't mean that you stop advocating. There's always something to be improved on, and made better.
Yeah, 100%. And I know there definitely needs to be improvement in Canada because we are lacking in so many ways. So I kind of miss the Global Marijuana March days, and I kind of miss the back in the day kind of vibe, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I was talking there about at the beginning of the show about the radio show, the start of it and all that in 2013. And those were big days, 2013, 2014, 15, 16 in Toronto at Queen's Park, like 50,000 people at times, depending on the year and what was going on there with the festivals, and even without the festivals afterwards, because people still came anyways. And it just be packed full of people, and it was always a good time. It was it was the festival. It was a great setting,
and like the most unorganized festival, but it always turned out awesome. Like
it was great. It's just because it's one of those events that there's some organizing, but there's also a lot of you fly by the seat of your pants.
Oh yeah. Especially if you were a vendor. If you ever set up at Queen's Park, you really had to navigate and how to get into that park and set up. Like, remember, hey, Al, I used to set up at the park and I had my tent. I had my 10 by 10 tent. We had the dab bar. We had generators going. Like, we went all out.
Like, so did they allow you to back up onto the sidewalk into the place? Or did you have to carry all that stuff in?
We were kind of a little bit rebellious because we kind of just jumped the curb, and then you would have to have a crew. You'd have a team because, I just remember so many people, and there was, and we made so many friends, and those come, and I guarantee I'm still friends with some people that we met at the Global Marijuana March.
Well, here you go. For
sure. Like, oh my gosh, bring it back.
I know. It was
good memories, man. Very, very good memories.
Yeah, even if there was bad weather, and even on the good weather, like I remember the first couple of years I went there, especially the first year, and I saw the tent set up on the ground. Like, I'm not talking vendor tents. I'm just talking tents that hold 2 or 3 people tents. And they didn't have any. I go, okay, what do they do? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, they're hotboxing in there.
Hey, but they were sometimes there was years where it did rain. It would rain.
Yes,
it would get a little wet out there. So if you didn't have those people in those tents were smart.
Yeah. There was an area that was always, when it rained, it was like a little lake.
Later in the day, for sure.
Yeah, and like when they had the festival, like the big festival, they had 2 stages: a big stage for the bands. They had the small stage for the speakers. They had all the vendors. It was just like, I know I left late. It was like 45 minutes after the march had started from the park.
Yeah.
People were coming in, just starting to come in the other side, and I was just leaving, and I was still in a crowd of people.
Yeah.
So
no, because we have a head shop in Hamilton called Where Heads Meet. It's owned by, I think you know it. You know it, Where Heads Meet.
Yeah, I know of it. Yeah.
The owner, James Lloyd. A shout out to James Lloyd. Shout out to Where Heads Meet. James used to organize a bus from Hamilton and load the bus up and bring so many people from Hamilton down to the festival. And that was, man.
I know, eh? Everybody's on the bus having a good time.
Yeah. And that bus driver was cool. He was cool. What was his name? His name was Elfie. How do I remember his name? Because we had such a good time. Elfie allowed us to smoke on the bus. We were allowed to. It was a big yellow bus, big magic school bus, man.
All right. Good stuff. So let's go from the marijuana march to basically what, and I'm sure the marijuana march come back up again sometime during the evening.
For sure. I love talking about it.
But look at that, there we go. Hi, Tamara.
Hi.
There we go.
She made it.
Rolling in late. Just on, I don't know.
I said quarter after, and I looked at my clock here and it said 8:16, and I thought, she's okay. I'm just going to go into a second part of a conversation here. Maybe she's going to show up any second now, and pop, there you were.
You made it. You made it.
I made it.
I was going through some show stuff earlier. Were you a guest, Anthony? Were you a guest on Tamara's show at one time? Or was Tamara, were you filling in on the Pace Radio show and Anthony was on the Pace Radio show?
You know what?
I saw something that had both your names on it.
You know what it is? I think I remember you added me on a call. I remember I was at work and we made a call, and I called and I talked to a whole bunch of group of people. I don't know who I was talking to, but everybody I loved everybody. It was a great show. That was a great show, and it was so much fun. And you added me on there, and I just got to talk about my business. And this was earlier in my business too. This was around the beginning, I think.
Yeah. It might have been like our what do you call it?
Year-end wrap-up or a road show or something, maybe. Yeah, it's possible, but hey, but it doesn't matter. We got you on our show now, and then I'll have to have you a guest on my show too.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
We'll be cross-referencing a lot of stuff in the next little bit because Cannabis and Coffee with Marijuana is coming back here. I'm just waiting for some logos to get finished up, and as soon as you get some to me, I was hoping to start Monday the 20th, but I'm not sure my logos are going to be ready by then. But if they're not, I think I'm going to start next Monday. I'm not sure. I think like this coming up Monday.
Nice.
I don't know. Well, let me know when you know, okay? So I can set everything.
Well, like I said, I'm just waiting for logos. If it was up to me, I would have started last week. But I'm just waiting on the logos, right? Yeah, but other than that,
right.
I can use my old logo to get going. It doesn't really matter.
Right. Now, before you got here, Anthony and I were talking about old times at the Global Marijuana March in Toronto. Anthony, Tamara has organized marches.
I did the first Global Marijuana March in Lethbridge in 2008.
Ooh.
The very first one that they ever had. And I did them here too when I first moved out here. I had 3 of them out here, and then legalization kind of happened and people weren't really coming out anymore. So
that's what Anthony, that was part of what our conversation was about, was the fact that, we've had the legalization has been out, and then we got hit with COVID and all these restrictions. So the marches never happened, and will they return?
Well, that was Dana Beale's baby, right? Like Dana Beale in the U.S. started the Global Marijuana March, and then they became the $1 million marijuana marches for a bit, and then they went back to being global marijuana marches. But it was Dana Beale in the States that actually started those way back to begin with, and that's when I jumped on, was because of Dana Beale in the States, and that was like my very first when I first started getting into advocacy and everything, and activism. That's kind of, I followed some of the stuff in the States, and then I met Keith and Debbie Fagan in Calgary with Calgary 420, and then everything just kind of took off, right? And we have to mention that it's been a year since Keith Fagan has passed away, so I'd like to shout out to Debbie Fagan too.
Yeah, and I mentioned Keith in our intro.
Did you?
Not only Keith, but I mentioned. Well, see, this is the 10th anniversary of the Pace Radio Show, and while Anthony has his dab there, we'll just fill in while he medicates there, because I know it's hard to talk when you're trying to inhale a mouth of vapor. It's not easy.
Barry doesn't need to say anything. He's got his little selfie. I'm good. I love them jobs. See, and I'm too. My lungs can't take that anymore. Like, I've got an now. I can't. I use a little vape pen, but if I do a great big dab, I'm coughing. I'm peeing my pants. It's just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So we sell these pocket tempers. They're pocket tempers, and they read the temperature of your banger. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I can read my banger. Boom, gives me my temperature. These are awesome.
Yeah.
What is your preferred temperature when you're dabbing?
So I'm hitting it a lot lower, because this is live hash rosin. So hit this at around that one was 370, 360.
Wow.
Yeah, low. So it's like full flavor.
Well, they're saying that the lower temps give you more of your terpenes too, right? So you can actually get the flavor.
It all in there, you know.
Yeah.
And it stays on your palate. That's where I feel like if you burn all that, it can't settle on your palate. And I'm all about, like, you know, the flavors landing, and like I can taste it still in my mouth.
Still, you know, like minutes afterwards, you can still taste it on your tongue. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm all about the flavor too. Like, if I take a joint and I pull on it and it's got like zero flavor, it's like, do I even want to smoke that?
Yeah, right.
And that's just kind of the way it's always been about flavor for me. Like, too, like, it's got to have a good terpene, like, I don't know, good flavors, right? Good smells.
When we've been judging cannabis in the past, people would ask me, you know, how do you decide the winner if you got a tie score? And I said, which one did you like the best as far as taste wise?
Right, exactly, because you can't really tell by the high so much because you're smoking so much of it that
you know,
you're,
like
you're high.
When you're trying to test 10 strains in 90 minutes,
right? Or you have a weekend and you've got 120 strains and you've got a weekend to do it. Because even with my cannabis cup that I had out here, we had 52 strains. 52 strains of indica, hybrid, sativa, and then we had hash and we had edibles. These guys, like, on my first night of my first Kootenai Cannabis Cup, I made the mistake of giving them the bags. They all ate their edibles, and by the time the band started at 10 o'clock, everybody's out sleeping. There were 6 of us that watched the band because everybody had gone home to sleep. I won't ever do that again. You get your edibles the next day. You can have your smokables the night before. The next day when you can have your edibles.
All right, Anthony. Let's get focused to you before we get to the commercial break. So let's go back to the beginning. You got what got you involved in the cannabis end of things?
So I was actually welding, and I was a welder for, let's say, 10 years. I was working for a company, and I got into medical cannabis, and I got into learning about vaporizers, and then I started selling vaporizers. So we started a website, and Hamilton Vape started as a website, and my whole thing was to once I used to carry products with me on a regular, and like my whole thing was try it before you buy it. Try it before you buy it. I think that even giving that experience with a customer. So we ended up opening up a space in the city of Hamilton, because this is where I'm from, born, raised. I got a lot of roots in here. We were actually, Al, I was telling you about how about my great
well,
grandfather.
yeah. Well, since you brought that up, uh,
1800s, 1800s.
tell Tamara
So
and how
we have some
deep these roots go.
for sure. So my actually last month we for Black History Month we got celebrated. My family got celebrated for my great grandfather who was the first Black minister in the city of Hamilton. He helped so many people during the Underground Railroad, helping them with employment, with homes, just in general, even just helping people.
What a great legacy.
Yeah, I got actually, it's crazy. Because I have everything with me. I was gonna show you guys. So that's my grandfather there. That's Robert Foster.
That's awesome.
And I carry that name with me in my name. So my name's Anthony Robert James Foster. So yeah, I'm super proud of this. And then I found out even more. So my family ended up all going to City Hall for the big celebration. And I found out more about my family. We're celebrated also too by Julie Berry. She's a relative of me as well.
Nice.
So our family, and this is 1800s. This is 1856. She did some big things in the city as well. And then I was all over the newspaper. I was on the radio. It was kind of cool for the month, right?
That's amazing. That's a great legacy. What is something to be really proud of? That's awesome.
Sure. And it was good too because we all I haven't seen my family all together like this for forever. Since I was a little kid. So seeing
nice
together, it was good. It was good.
So did your family did you originate in the States or were you Jamaican or where's your roots?
So my grandma's from St. Vincent. My grandma's from Trinidad, and my grandma on my dad's side is from St. Vincent. So he's actually Dutch and from St. Vincent. So he's got a Dutch St. Vincent background because it's crazy how that all works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So and then my grandma on my mom's side is from Trinidad and then that's where the Fosters came in Hamilton, and there's a whole history with my family.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
And you're continuing on with, standing up and being an advocate for things that you see that haven't been done properly, like cannabis, right? So you following in the footsteps of.
Especially helping people, man. And I just got this job as a general manager at a dispensary, a native-owned dispensary in the city. So, which is amazing to see that. Because I'm working for Mississauga Credit of Medicine Wheel. They're amazing. I've been already seeing the growth in the store. They love having me on board. So things are working well with that, and
you've given lots of enthusiasm. There's no doubt about that.
There's a lot. You know me. Listen. You get me on your team. I'm so loyal, man. I'm the best. I'm part of the team. I'm so good on the team, man. You want me on your team. That's what I'm saying. I gotta say.
Right? I know. And that's the best part about it. Even I never thought 10 years ago 20 years ago, I guess now, but I'm working in a mainstream garden center teaching people how to grow cannabis.
I heard about this. This is awesome.
So you know what I mean? So when we go back and we think about where we came from 20 years ago, and legalization's not all perfect. We all know that. Yeah. But I would have never thought that I'd be the cannabis expert at a mainstream garden center.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it.
So you know what I mean? And hydroponics too. In fact, on Monday, we're going to teach senior citizens how to grow cannabis.
I was going to say, are you allowed to do classes? And
that's what I'm doing. Yeah. So Monday night, Top Crop has been asked by the garden center if my counterpart, Rob, and I can come and teach them hydroponics and teach them how to grow microgreens. And then she goes, and you can teach us how to grow medicine. And I said, yes, I can. So we're going to the senior center on Monday. to teach the garden club senior citizens how to grow lettuce and tomatoes, cucumbers in water, and weed.
And
All right, I can hardly wait till next week's show to get an update on that.
Right? Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And the products that they can get will all be supplied from the store you work at.
Right.
Perfect.
Right. Like we've got Remo's nutrients in there now. I brought Remo's nutrients in.
Okay.
So, and we also carry Green Planet. We carry like the bumper crop A and B. Like we've got like a fair array. We've got lights, we've got ballasts, we've got tents, we got baskets, Rockwell, whatever you need to grow, we've got it. Whether it's in cocoa fiber or whether it's in dirt or whether it's in hydroponics, whatever you want to do for your 4 plants, if you're medical. We've got a couple medical patients that have got plants, like 200 plus plants. And I've changed them in the last 2 weeks into Remo's nutrients.
Wow.
We need to get them on board here.
That's awesome. You need to bring Remo in. You need to bring him in as a special guest.
We've had him on. We've had him on a couple times, yeah. Oh, but they're actually they're in Spain right now at Cannabis, and they'll be in Toronto for 420 this year because they were gonna So they'll be in Toronto for 420.
See, 420 is gonna be big.
I just got something going on.
Yeah, they're gonna make it. They're gonna do big in Toronto.
And there's a big one in Vancouver, but there's a shit show going on. So I was supposed to go to Vancouver and speak in Vancouver, and now that's all changed. So I'm not going to Vancouver, but I'm sending an entry in for the cup. So my candies are being entered into the cup rather than me going over there. Yeah,
you're still there. You're still there. In here. All right, it's time for us to take a break. Great time. When we get back, we'll learn more about the Hamilton Vape and Anthony. But until then, this is the Pace Radio Show, and we'll see you in about 2.5, 3 minutes. See you shortly.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
When you think of the number of unique products developed in the fields, kitchens, and labs at Legacy 420, it's hard to think that one stands out above the rest. But tell that to the thousands of people who have tried this amazing breakthrough product.
This is our Sacred Salve. This is actually our extra strength. It comes in 5 different strengths. It's all natural, all organic. It typically works within 10 to 15 minutes of putting it on. It's good for arthritis, it's good for inflammation, any kind of pain. We're very proud of it.
Sacred Salve, so easy to apply, along with soothing relief. To select a strength that's right for you, come in and talk to your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Pace Radio Network, by patients, for patients, and for those who want to know.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBGTV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com. CBGTV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net as well as cbgtv.com. Plus, there's social media. Tonight in the program, We are joined by our guest, Anthony Foster, of Hamilton Vape. Oh, there you go. I was wondering whether you're both frozen there or not for a second. Good to see you, Moose.
So you had a vape, like a lounge in Hamilton, right?
Yep.
And did they shut you down, or did you voluntarily shut down?
No, so we kind of transitioned to something different, but we're still a consumption space. So I'm actually in the space. I'm in the space right now. So so we run our space as a rental space, and then we're just letting people know we're cannabis friendly. So instead of doing the lounge, because the thing is about the lounge is you got to have staff, and that's waiting for people to come and hang out in the space. And that thing, honestly, things have changed with COVID and things like that. So we transferred into it in more of an event space. I still have my retail space here as well. But mostly it's a space that is creative space, and I have it available for anybody that wants to use it. We've done so much stuff in the space.
So people can host events there. Like if I lived there, I could have a grow up tournament where I could bring in like 25 or 40 people and play on a board game all day long and smoke doobies and eat medicated food. And
we do the puff and paint nights. We do puff and paint nights. We do 420 bingo. The space is massive. It's huge. So and then on Saturday, I'm doing lounge night. We're actually bringing the lounge vibe back to the space, and we do giant Jenga. I get some foods for some people. We're gonna have special vaporizer demos. So I have my buddies coming down with a company called Vistrato, and they have a vaporizer that is it's pretty wild, and they're gonna do demos and let people try it. And then the company I'm working for is gonna do giveaways. They're gonna hook me up with a bunch of stuff to give away to all the guests. And I'm only trying, and it's regular price, like $10. You get a complimentary drink, you can hang out. We're just bringing the old lounge back because people
do you have a bar, like a liquor license set up kind of thing, or is it just kind of like
no liquor? We don't have any alcohol. We don't serve alcohol, and we don't allow alcohol.
Yeah. Well, no, like some places, like that's the thing. Like even when you get into the point where you want to open a business like that, like you couldn't put cannabis and alcohol together because it's against the law to do that, right? That's where I ran into problems with a venue with a cup because we had done it prior to legalization in a bar setting, and then after that we couldn't do it at the bar because cannabis and alcohol are all under the same umbrella, and that's not, but they can't be together.
And I just run my place as a private event space. So people want
to
And like I have
Now before, so you put it on events there, or you rent it out, to people who want to hold events. When it was originally, like back in the day before the COVID and all that, your lounge itself, was it one where obviously people came in? Did you have an entertainment going on, or different night or anything like that?
So our space was a little bit smaller, but it worked for what we did. We would do movie nights. We had Super Smash Brother tournaments, video game nights, and honestly, we had a crowd of people that would love to come to that. So. And we've now transferred it over to here. So every Sunday we run big tournaments here.
Nice.
Now they have a club. They have a whole club. So
really, that's what it's growing into. A couple guys first getting together, playing some video games at a lounge, and now you've got a club.
The space helped us grow for sure because it was beautiful. Like the space had retail, a little bit of retail. I did my rosin press services in there because we've been doing that since we opened. I did rosin press services in the beginning, and then we got sponsored by Flash Vape, and they gave us that's a Canadian company out west, and they gave us a rosin press, and we've been using that machine forever. It's amazing. So
Nice. It's always nice when you get one of those given to you.
They knew what we were doing. They knew what we were doing, right? And I helped units, right? They understood what we were up to, right? So I told them, I told my whole business plan, and they freaking loved it. He's like, man, that's amazing that you're doing that.
I think that's the loophole, like a private medical patient club.
Yeah. And I'm on Airbnb. I'm on Airbnb, so I run my space as an event space on Airbnb, so that I get a lot of bookings that way. Obviously, I have to navigate through the shitheads, but I let people know we're cannabis friendly. And
what about high B&B?
She's reached out to me. I haven't. I know we're supposed to chat, but I've been navigating and doing my thing. We're doing good. We're doing okay.
Good. Exactly. So you, like you mentioned different events there. Now I remember one time, like Hamilton, it was like, Toronto's a mecca of cannabis stuff, but Hamilton also has its, history of cannabis events and things that happened down there. Like I participated in some of them that were going on downtown there. But as far as like the one that I hear about all the time is the crawl.
The crawl.
Oh, look at that! You even got the Can of Crawl T-shirt on.
I wear this to work. I wear this at the dispensary. I'm like, hey guys, you got to come to the crawl. And so Can of Crawl it's been running for a while. The thing is, the only cannabis events in the city is run by us. Like it's myself or my partner, High Society Supper Club, Rena Rampersad. She's amazing. Her and I have been working together on a bunch of events, and then we came up with Can of Crawl. And Can of Crawl is just it's a diverse vendor market. We really focus on culture as well. And people of definitely minorities. We always put people of minority in check first, and people that are at disadvantage. So we help those people first and let them really kind of vend at our space, and then we bring and we also do it at a center as well. So and I have history with that cultural center because my great grandfather founded the building. Founded the. Told you the history, man. The history is.
And it's funny though, like 20 years ago, they would have been looking down their noses at you, right? But once cannabis became medically medical okay, people started loosening up a bit. Now we've had legalization for almost 5 years, and the old folks want to know what they've been lied about. Because they don't see us going all wacky crazy. The stuff that they've heard, it's not happening. And they're like, maybe there is benefits to it. Maybe we've been lied to. And we're talking like people in their 70s, right? Like my mom's age. And maybe my mom's old friends are like, maybe we should go and talk to Tammy. Maybe she does know a little bit of something. So I got little old ladies that, like in a wheelchair yesterday in the greenhouse, a friend of my mom's asking me about weed at work.
I love that. That's the best.
Oh yeah, it is. When I was doing the shows with Treating Yourself at the women's shows or house shows and stuff, that's what was that was the people who were coming to the table were the elderly people. They weren't young people. Maybe it's because they didn't attend the show. I don't know, but I just know that I got to the point is if people were going that older people are against cannabis, then maybe they're discriminating against them.
10 years ago, I would have never told the people that I work with that I smoke weed. Now, everybody that I work with smokes weed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was all these older people coming to the booth.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly, because they're now realizing that they've been lied to. That all the years that they were thinking it was the devil's lettuce, they might have been missing out on. Maybe they wouldn't be feeling all the aches and pains they've got. Maybe they wouldn't be taking as many prescriptions that they're taking because they've been listening to a doctor shove pharmaceuticals at them for the last 50 years, right? And that's the thing. Like we've got all these the older generation than us that are being stuck full of pharmaceuticals because they haven't had the experience of medical cannabis like we have. So I think that it's a real niche to teach the older generation that they can heal themselves with cannabis. Like, you know what I mean? The benefits of cannabis. They might be able to take themselves off some of these pills that they're taking. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's my thoughts.
No, 100%.
I would imagine, Anthony, you mentioned that you've got a cough.
It's a recommend. It has to be done here. If you don't cough, you're
This is a bubblegum vape pen from my friends down at Legacy 420. We were down there on Monday. It was we did a tour. It was great. We had a real good time. You mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm digging out mine. It's not a Legacy 420, but.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not a legal one either.
You mentioned that you do consulting as well.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be doing a cannabis grower expo here in at my space. It's going to be called the Growers Meetup, and what I'm going to be doing is getting tent growers to novice growers to expert growers. They're going to be coming together, and I'm really encouraging people to bring beans. I want them to be trading. I really want to have people even trading strains and genetics and clones. That would be amazing as well.
Yeah.
We have a great pet panel. I just talked to, and I remember I just heard you talking about her, is Allison. I'm trying to get Allison on my panel and talking about psychedelics and plant medicine.
Nice.
Because I really
should be all into that.
I know and I just talked to Gary because Gary comes to my dispensary that I work at in Hamilton on a regular. So
okay, yeah.
I see Gary all the time and
see him all the time, eh? Yeah.
And then they put me on three-way and I was talking to them all and it was great. Allison, I love Allison, man. I got that's great. She's awesome. She
was here as a joint host and had some great guests and I learned a lot off her just being a co-host, just even listening to her, not as if I was just a person in the audience listening to what she had to say.
Oh yeah, she can do that.
Are you talking about Allison Merton?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know Allison too. I've met her a few times. Yeah. I love her.
I've seen her control a room of like 60, 70 people.
Oh yeah.
And that's most like everybody's eyes were on her. Everybody was silent and just because hey, remember she used to go to Puff Jam on a regular.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She was the original law enforcement against prohibition, right? She used to be a correction agency, right? So that's how I met her too. But she's actually they've got COVID right now.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shout out to Allison.
Yeah. Hope she's feeling better soon because there's been several people recently on that. No, she doesn't because she's got MS, right? So when you've got MS, your immune system's already buggered. Never mind the tic de la rue and everything else that she's got going on. Like I said, I've known Allison for 20 years. So it sucks.
Yeah. And like when she was with us, she was always talking about the legalization of all drugs, and some people were always looking, wow, what's she talking about that for? And here we are, 10 years later. People are using those drugs medicinally for depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. It's just
and here we are in British Columbia with legal cocaine and legal heroin and legal 2.5 grams of legal drugs. Everything.
The crime, yes. Yeah. So, but so with your consulting, you were talking about you're going to have a grow thing going on.
Yeah.
There
we're helping people with their grow setups. And then from that, I just want to do some education as well as networking. So I'm bringing people together and letting them just loose, letting a bunch of growers in one room and, just chatting and bean swapping. And I got a bunch of people that are helping me sponsor it.
Good.
We got a lot of beans going to be given out. So I'm excited.
Lots
I'm
of
so
people
excited.
beans.
Yeah. And
yes.
It's in May, so it's perfect. It's just before the season. We're getting ready for the go. It's like May 13th. So
May 13th.
May 13th.
We'll have to have you back on before then so we can talk about your event.
Sure, you should do it live. We should do live with you at the Pace Radio. We should do it or something.
Hey, it wouldn't take much. We'll have to talk.
Coming live.
Right?
Yeah.
You could do that. And then you'd be live too.
Right?
You're doing it now, man. You're doing it now, right?
Right now. We're live with Pace Radio.
Yeah. Well, you are live with Pace Radio. On Roku TV too. Yeah, you betcha.
And we're on the Instagram live.
So with your consulting.
Yeah, that's right, Tamara. He's on his Instagram feed right now. Yeah. Now I don't know if they can see us. They can hear us. Can they see us?
Probably.
No, they can't see you, but they can hear you.
Correct.
Because he's live. Because he's live on his phone, right? They can see him and they can hear us. Oh, that's it. That's cool. Right on. Well, shout out, hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Yeah,
so
I guess
with
that's
your
one way to get on
consulting, what's your demographic? Like, are you looking at like young people? Like, what's your age? Like that everybody's kind of coming and looking. Like, I don't see that you're probably having a seniors dinner or anything like that. So, what's your demographic?
But so I've reached out to all all the growers that I know and some old heads. We brought in some old heads. We brought some younger guys that are really kind of like really taking over the market and I'm a big organic grower myself. So we have a living soil growing company from Brantford. I don't know if you know Black Swallow living soil.
Black Swallow, yes, yeah. I know the product.
We got Nathan coming down. We got and then their team is going to be on the panel talking about soil, about good stuff.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about their product. I haven't personally used their product, but it's obviously it's from Brantford, it's right here from Ontario, and it's I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm my background for the last 4 years. I was growing in a fully organic, sustainable indoor grow, which we had we had a fish pond. We had we had compost going. We had worms on the regular, feeding the fish, going back into our soil. Beneficial bugs on regular. I had a huge contract with NIC. Natural insect control out in the Niagara area. Yeah. Full out on doing that. And then I'm not doing that anymore. We're new chapters in my life. And now I'm working to be district manager for the company. And I want to take over Hamilton and they already know I'm killing Hamilton because the roots. Remember,
right?
Let's go back to the roots.
That's right. The roots, man. The roots.
That's right.
That's right. Well,
and that's good. Like I said, the energy that you've got, like Hamilton's gonna have some fun.
I'm gonna send it to you too, and I'm happy for you and your new adventure, because that sounds amazing, and I'm really happy. I really like to hear about new adventures that people are doing and that are making them happy, because a lot of people are doing stuff that is not making them happy at all, and it's so it's blessings to be doing what you love. And I'm jealous. I want to come out there and do that too with you.
Well, it's interesting when you find out like how many people, because like I'm not just teaching weed, I'm teaching like we got house plants and all kinds of things. So I'm kind of like integrating through the whole thing. But when people come in and really want to know like what's this, like the root stems, like everything, we've got everything, pH balance, everything. So they want to know about their pH, they want to know about their parts per million, they want to know how to use these, all these technical things, and all the gadgets and the timers and all that stuff. And thankfully I know how to use that kind of stuff, because they don't, right? Some of them come in, they don't have a clue. And it's quite funny when you got little old ladies coming in today and asking for a timer for her lights because she needs it for her medicine. It broke. And she was like 80, right? Like, I'm not kidding you. So I took her down there and got her, timer. And she goes, that's one got. I'll take that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
so like
that are already gardeners. I already love chatting with the old people that already have their hands dirty and they're used to gardening and everything. I'm like, yo, you just need to implement all those good things to this. And you will have amazing plants.
Right. And that's the thing, like you're absolutely right. Most of them grow beautiful orchids and perennials and annuals. Every year their gardens are immaculate. They're all weeding and feeding and loving that garden every year, right? And like I said, we've got people in their 80s that are still putting out full gardens, and never mind growing weed in their backyard too with their tomatoes and stuff. The only thing that they keep saying, like we have a real problem with aphids out here this year and black flies in the last couple of years. So that's something that I'm trying to encourage them not to grow their cannabis outside. And I'd like to, sunshine's the best, but when you're getting infested with aphids every year, it's not beneficial for you. Like, you don't want the bugs, right? And we've got ladybugs too, but you put ladybugs outside and the ladybugs stay for about 5.5 seconds and then they're on the neighbor's tree. So, it's really hard to keep it contained outside. It's unfortunate. Especially out here right now, and the powdery mildew too that we get sometimes being outside, which has been prevalent out here because of the wet springs we've had. So the growing's I'm in the East Kootenay too, so it's not an ideal spot to grow cannabis outside. You don't get the time. You don't get the sunshine for as long, right? We're the sunshine capital, so it's great until but when you come to the end of it, you need to bring them in. So I'm trying to encourage people to grow their inside. Just to save themselves the hassle of you can do it in a small area. We've got tents. If you want to just do it in your little closet, we got LED lights, and these little old ladies will do it right on their kitchen table. Oh, 4 plants, that's nothing, she says. I'll do that right on my kitchen table.
It's always good when you get to talk to them like that.
You get them Are you able to get them clones in the store?
Not yet, but we're talking about doing that, but it's really tricky because of the age thing. And you can't have them in public and they can't be seen in public, because I wanted to grow plants in the store. I wanted to have the 4 plants growing in the store, but you can't be seen in public. They can't be in public, especially when there's children around.
Well, so you put a sign up, clones available,
19 and plus.
Huh?
We could do that. We could do the pre-order, but we still have to have licensing from Health Canada.
We
still have to have a distribution licensing. Yeah. So that's something that I've talked about too but it'll be a long, complicated bunch of bullshit. So, and then we'd have to have security. We'd have to have 19 plus greenhouse. So maybe, but it's going to be complicated if we ever get there.
I saw something in online in StratCan. It was talking about clones, $25 as high as $40 for a clone.
Yeah,
sure.
So I posted on them, and I said I can remember buying them for $3 freshly cut, $5 with roots.
Not anymore.
Somebody liked my comment, and somebody commented, you're never gonna get that anymore. And then all of a sudden. My comment was gone. The author deleted my comment.
Oh yeah, because that's a commodity now too, like a clipping off a plant. But you're fucking kidding me, right?
That's what they were talking about, $25 to $40 for a clone.
I know the last clones I bought out at the res were $25 a piece, and that's coming off the res. Yeah.
Really? Eh? Wow. Yeah. Gee, I guess it's been a while since I bought clones.
Yeah. I've had them give them to me, and I've never. But this year I don't have anything. I've got some seeds, but I'm just like, so I've got this guy that comes into the store to buy stuff, and I gave him a thing of Rimo's roots, and I said, guaranteed you'll have roots in 3 to 6 days, and if you don't, you can come in and call me a liar. But in the interim, he was showing me his pictures. His medical patient, he's got 50 plants. They're beautiful. He's got some beautiful Gorilla Glue, and he's got some just beautiful strains. I can't remember, the one was Dragon something. Anyways, there's like 4 different strains, just beautiful plants. And he come in the other day and he goes, I got roots. I said, of course you do. But I can get clones off of him. He said that he would be more than happy to give me 4 clones. So, yeah.
Well,
so
you can gift things now, right?
Right, you can. Yeah, you can gift.
With your event, the growth thing that you're going to be doing in May, Anthony. Is that just a week? Is that a day thing, a night thing, or is that a weekend thing?
It's going to be a day. I'm doing it from I think 2 to 11 or something that day, or even earlier, I think. We're going to see how it goes. This is my first one that we're going to do. I'm trying to bring in, I can't bring in too many vendors, and I don't want to bring too many vendors in, but I want to bring in some important vendors. So we're bringing Alchemy Genetics, which he's making amazing strains right now, and he's killing it.
Nice.
He's killing it. And Canadian too. So love
Good.
it. He's coming out. We got Black Swallow. We got my buddy that's out in Brantford. He has he has a hydroponic store, Harvest Hydroponics. He's coming out. And I don't know who else is coming out. I think Subsidian. Oh, yeah, Subsidian. Yeah. So we got a couple other people. It's going to be a good vibe.
Good.
Right on.
Well, it starts someplace and it grows.
For sure.
More and more get on board as you talk to more people. And that's something that people need to know, as Tamara is obviously saying that, every night that we're on here, about the people who come into the store that want to know about growing cannabis. People want to know. So if they can learn from the people who do it.
But it's good to know that there's spaces that people can rent too, like your place.
Yeah.
Where they could go and have a cannabis cup, where it's cannabis friendly. You could have an event with a band and, people coming in and doing stuff like that, because you can't do that. Like even bazaars, have another group come in and rent your space or whatever, have your vendors. That's something that we don't have out here. I can't go rent a hall and it's not cannabis friendly. We can't consume in it, right? Being able to consume that's amazing. To be able to do that.
Yeah.
Weddings?
Unique. Yeah, for sure. Weddings, yeah. I just had a lady come by and she had a wedding reception. So she's having.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
Cannabis, even a Jack and Jill, cannabis friendly Jack and Jill. That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's break time. Time to pay some bills. All right. When we return, Tamara and I will continue our discussion with our guest, Anthony Foster of Hamilton Vape. See you in 2.5 minutes.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Pace Radio is the people advocating cannabis education radio network.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBGTV broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and in the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have 2 lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back. Tonight here on the Pace Radio Show, we are joined by Anthony Foster of Hamilton Vape. Well, you two, we got another segment to go before the bottom of the hour. And what I'd like to touch on, as we just saw before going in the commercial, coming on the commercial break there, is our sponsor, Legacy 420, which is First Nations owned, just like where Anthony works at the dispensary at MC
Medicine.
MC
Medicine,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
16
Right.
locations. 16 locations off the res.
Correct. Yeah, I was going to say that's where I was going to get to. Because of the psychedelics and cannabis educational news broadcasts that we do, we've been reporting on them opening up some of their stores, and how people have said they're not on reserve.
No.
Whereas a lot of the stores, like Tag and Ega, we were talking on the weekend, and they got 50 stores down there, but they're all on the reserve. These MC stores are off reserve, correct?
Off the reserve, yeah.
And what are they selling the government regulated cannabis, or are they not?
No.
Not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he got the okay with the mayor. He just went to open up in London, and we got the okay with the mayor, part of the ribbon cutting. I was like, yeah.
Wow, really? The ribbon cutting
Well,
too.
in reality though,
Let's go.
it doesn't matter if they're off reserve land. It doesn't matter. This is all their land. You know what I mean? This is all
Correct.
Right. So
Exactly.
really, it shouldn't matter. If they're gonna set up wherever, that's okay. We're here as guests. So you know what? Let them.
Yeah, you got before sports games, before meetings or municipal office meetings and stuff like that, you're hearing them. Even I know Kelly on her radio show, she has something that comes out that talks about recognizing the indigenous land that the event or the show or whatever is happening at.
Yeah.
So
I do that at the end of every one of my emails now. Is in my position with the Liberal Party. You acknowledge the land that you live on, because we're guests here.
So I can see them having that same argument when it comes to the cannabis, the fact that this is our land. Yeah, we're not on reserve, but we're still on our land.
Right. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, that's how I look at it. That's great. I think that's great. So 16 locations, let's do 16 more. They should be across Canada. Never mind Ontario.
Looking on Ontario, and he wants more for sure.
We have an Indigenous bloom out here in BC. It's called Indigenous Bloom, and they're kind of, I think, branched out off the res too, and as they should be.
For sure.
It's not. They don't need to get nobody's permission.
Yeah. So as far as MC Medicine Wheel, you offer all kinds of products. Do you produce any products, or I see a head nod there.
So they do I produce products for them?
No. As far as does MC Medicine Wheel have their own product lines or make their own
Oh
products.
yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
like I know what I'm reading about in the paper is about them opening up on it off the reserve is what I'm reading about. We're not hearing about them themselves and about the company. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm sort of wondering about. Like, do they produce their own products and
They
so on and
produce
so
their
forth?
products. And then and anything that we do have in our store are all native owned products or native made. So and native grown. So our flour is native grown. We have very affordable flour in that, and that area needs that. So this spot where we're at in Hamilton is the peak spot for what we're selling, and like I'm happy because people are coming in just blown away. And then I'm taking the bus in. I take the bus into work, and I'm allowed to give out pre-rolls. So we got these cards with our pre-rolls on them. So man, I'm making so many friends on the bus now.
Yeah, when you're giving out joints, I guess you would get a lot of friends.
Right?
I try.
More the merrier. The more the merrier, man.
Yeah.
That's the way I look
So
at it. We'll be passing them everywhere.
Do you find you get a wide range of customers, like as far as when it comes to age, or do you find that you do get a good amount of seniors that come in?
Well, you know what? It's a great demographic, and if if you're from Hamilton, you kind of understand who's going to be coming in, and like I get it. And this is for everybody right now. Everybody's not doing the best right now. Things are tough.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? I get it. And there's a lot of if you're from Hamilton, there's some problems in the city, right? Like there's problems everywhere right now, but there's
problems everywhere, man.
Right? So you see it in that area, and I think they definitely need what we're bringing there because what they're on is something dangerous. So
yep, absolutely. The marginalized are the ones that need the help the most. So yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, I have a friend that grew up in Hamilton. He lives in Kelowna now, but he told me some pretty, good stories about Hamilton. Like good stories. Like it's a friendly town. Great. But so it's a city too. It's not some little bum like where I live. Like what's the population of Hamilton?
What did we add? Was it 150? No, I don't remember. I don't even know the population. I should know this.
Yeah. No,
I'm losing track because we keep growing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The city's too much. It's too fast, actually.
Now, when I was down there last, I'm going to assume it's still there, that when you enter your downtown, you actually drive through an archway, some steel arch or something.
Yeah.
It welcomes the people to the downtown.
That's the bridge, the Skyway Bridge.
Oh, the Burlington Skyway. No, this is right downtown. I guess on King Street.
Oh, the
King
arch.
Street
Yeah, the arch. Yeah, the Hamilton Arch. Yep.
Yes. The Burlington Skyway. Yeah, I hear a lot about that. It's been yeah. That's one of those ones when you go over the bridge, you look straight ahead. It makes it easier to get over.
Right.
Yeah. So, I saw some video footage of a transport truck getting blown over onto its side, and it's on the bridge. Yeah.
The wind gets crazy up there. The wind gets crazy up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're pretty close to the lakes, no? Or where? Like, I've only been to Ontario via a plane. I've never driven through Ontario, so I'm not really. I don't know exactly where Hamilton is, to be honest.
We're right on the lake.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Lake. Yeah. We depend on the lake. Yeah, for sure. Hamilton's like steel town,
harbor,
right? Harbor, right? So, yeah.
Right.
Steel town.
Town.
I knew a guy that used to deliver to DeFasco down there. So.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we got probably about 10 minutes before we get to the shout out. Earlier in the show, we're talking about marches and the Global Marijuana March, and you've talked a lot about family and roots and stuff. Tamara, this guy's mom goes to the booth with him and helps him out.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah. Right on.
I got to meet his mom, and she's just like his son. We had a good time. We had a good conversation and the whole bit when I got to meet her, and I thought it was great.
That's
that
great.
She was there, that she was very supportive.
She's good energy. She's good energy for sure. For sure.
I bet. Well, it's like some people have always known the benefits of cannabis, right? And they've just kept using it quietly. Like I know, like I said, there's some people that really have followed the plant for the decades and decades it's been around for medicinal purposes, and they know. And they know, they just do it quietly and just don't tell anybody. And then when they, now that they can talk about it, they're talking about it. And they're talking lots about it. And that's exactly how you educate people, right? And what you're doing is educating people too, and having these gatherings and stuff. And that's just great to keep that momentum going, because if we don't keep doing these things, it'll die. Our culture will die. And we really need to keep our culture, which is what this is, going, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Fully. That was so well said. That was so well said. Thank you. That was good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, what do you got the? When's your next canna crawl? So we can maybe plan something here.
It's April 22nd. I should know this date.
April 22nd.
So many things going on. I got an Easter egg hunt in the city. I got
Easter egg.
Yeah, we got Easter egg hunt. We pick a park. I do an adult Easter egg hunt. I put I put little notes in each egg, and that's the prize. And then they come back to the home base and receive their prize.
Oh, that's a good idea.
All right, good idea.
That's a really good idea, because then you're not leaving random stuff and random people are picking up stuff they shouldn't, like kids or anything. You're just a note. Here comes this address to pick up your prize. That's totally great.
And we gotta be careful for animals, because
they eat
have squirrels. We have little squirrels that we went to the park, and people were finding eggs that were half chewed open, and the squirrels in Gage Park in Hamilton, very, very aggressive.
So what did you do? What are you gonna do?
So we're just not going to that park. That park is very.
We'll pick a different spot.
Different spot this year.
Yeah, that's a better. Yeah,
where do you find a park without skunks?
Skunks and squirrels, man. These things are.
Yeah, exactly.
The squirrels, man, they'll come right up to you. So,
wow.
Canna crawls on April 22nd, so that's good. And then we have a puff and paint night in April.
Puff and paint night.
Oh, we got so many events. Everything
so
you
people
can
get
find.
Smoking joints while they're painting, which improves the creativity.
Yeah. And
that's super popular. Like paint and wine, but instead of paint and wine, you get paint and puffs. I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
At least you can, drive home and not, yeah.
For sure.
I like that a lot better.
We had a bachelorette party come out to our last one. We had a huge bachelorette party, and oh my gosh, they had
bachelorette party.
Yeah, 25 ladies.
Oh.
Yeah, it was fun. They had the best time.
Yeah.
They were so
good.
Maybe look at the next one.
Canna crawl. Okay, that.
Canna crawl. Yeah, that sounds like a great fun. That sounds like great fun.
I'm interested in that. Damn, you're just so far away, man.
How far is Hamilton from you, Al?
What's that?
How far are you from Hamilton?
About 3 hours, and that's on a good day.
Oh.
If you ever had to drive the stretch of highway from Ajax to Hamilton, which includes the distance all the way through Toronto, it can it can be 100-mile long stop and
Waiting,
go situation.
right?
Oh, it's
Yeah, because you're on the 401, right?
yeah. Well,
it's got to be part of your tour.
yeah.
I drove on that once. I closed my eyes in the backseat of a car from the airport down to downtown Toronto in a car. And the guy that was driving was from Calgary, and he was driving like a maniac, and I'm in the backseat of this car.
Oh,
It was horrible. But so I have had an experience on that highway. And it was stop, start, stop, start, stop, start
Well,
too. But he was like,
just,
meow, meow.
just so you know, the QEW is even worse.
I'm glad I live in bumfuck Egypt. I really am. I'll stay out here in the mountains. I can get to work in 10 minutes. I can get from one end of town to the other in like 13 and a half minutes. I'm
I
good.
love the mountains.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah,
So,
I'm good.
yeah. Okay, we got 5 minutes here before we get to the shout out. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about, Anthony, that we haven't brought up or discussed?
No, we've
No.
chatted.
Okay. Yeah.
So how do people get a
I
hold
know
of you
what
then?
You want me?
I've got it. Okay, we talked about earlier. We discussed, the lounge in the olden days before the COVID days and stuff like that. And as you are aware, there was other lounges in Hamilton. There was other lounges like Toronto had all kinds of lounges in it. Excuse me. Is there any any good news that maybe at some point you're hearing anything in the grapevine that the government would be even interested in bringing some type of lounge, and if they would come back with some type of lounge, got an idea what it might look like?
So they have already. They have. So what's in Toronto, and it's actually connected to a dispensary. It's called Lit Lounge.
Oh,
Lit Research. Sorry, it's actually Lit Research, not Lit Lounge.
right.
But really, at the end of the day, it's Lit Lounge. But it's called Lit Research, and they have a lounge in there where you kind of book an experience. It's different. It's a different vibe, though. It's a different and then you have to fill out a little survey. So they're receiving some research, right? They're kind of doing
I
it
was
like
just saying,
Central.
so they must be doing.
Yeah, they were doing that at the end before they closed up. They were doing like the research center, Vape Central.
Yeah, I believe Vapor Central. I think they were operating at one time with a research thing as well.
Yeah, that's how they were getting away with because remember, all lounges got messed up with the tobacco with the smoking
bylaws. Yeah, the smoking tobacco bylaws.
Yeah,
free,
and
right?
the lounges didn't cause problems. The lounges actually improve things for people, for
100%.
patients. It can help the neighborhood. It gave people that could go to there and socialize and have a good time, and they did things for the community. They got involved in the BIAs. The report that I did on them, there was a few instances they report, but instances include things like just going in the door, just walking by and going in the door and going in. They call them service calls or something. They go in, just maybe talk to somebody, and then they leave. It's not like they were trouble. It's not like going to the alcohol district in Toronto on a weekend where you'd have so many calls for problems.
So many problems.
Yeah, the lounges weren't an issue that I know of. They were actually helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
And part of the community, right? So.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it too is, like, even with this, like, not smoking in public, you can't smoke cannabis, in front of a restaurant or you get kicked out. Like, that still happens, right?
Yeah.
But I think if they come back, they'll be more like they could have some entertainment and that. But hopefully it would be, they would be able to maybe serve beverages and edibles. Just like if you go to a bar, you can buy different kinds of drinks and beverages.
Yeah.
Well, like even when you
No,
take your syrup, right? Like in
I don't
BC,
see
like
that.
if you like are like serving liquor at a bar and somebody goes out and smokes a joint in BC with the syrup right program, like your Canna, whatever in Ontario, if you smell marijuana, you're not allowed to serve them anymore.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, nasty. All right, 25 after. We got 5 minutes or less. Time for that shout out opportunity. Person, place, a thing, website. If you've got more, even if you got 10, feel free to name them all off.
Okay, so you guys can catch us on Instagram at Hamilton Vape Family. You can check us on Facebook as Hamilton Vape. You can find us on everything. You can even Google us and you'll find us. We have a YouTube channel. I have a LinkedIn tree, but the thing is, it has all our connections. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll see all our updated stuff. Especially on our Facebook as well too. I make sure I go on there as well. Yeah, and we have a Twitter too. We got we're trying to stay in everything.
Do you find that there's so many that it's hard to keep up?
There's too many, man. You try to
I
set
quit.
it.
I don't. I just don't.
I don't. The Snapchats and all that stuff. There's just too many of them.
Too many. Way too many. My phone is
Just
breaking
too
down.
many.
I got too many apps.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly.
I'm too old to deal with it. That's how I look at it. I'm not. Yeah, I'm done. No.
That works. That works.
No, it's nice to have a program or platform like this here on StreamYard that reaches several different platforms, and we don't necessarily have to, be active and so on and so forth. You can reach the audiences that use those platforms, which is good. Which is good. All right. Other than that, Tamara, anything you'd like to say before?
I got nothing. I got nothing this week. I guess shout out to you, Al, for continuing to cover my ass when I'm late. Other than that,
well, today was I talked about the first year of Pace Radio Show, being that we're now 10 years old. I'm gonna put that in the logo. That's right.
And how many
10
guests?
years.
How many co-hosts have you had over those 10 years?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna probably say 8 to 10 over that time.
Right.
And sometimes there are 4 at a time. 4, 3. Yeah.
Things have evolved and changed and moved, and I was supposed to be a temporary, step in for a bit, and then I stayed.
Still here. All right, Anthony.
Yeah.
It was great talking with you. Hold on, don't leave after we're done here. I got to talk to you. I got a couple questions I want to continue with.
Do you have a website or somewhere else they can get a hold of you, or just on social media?
Just on the social media. I don't actually have a website.
All right, good to know. All right, just a reminder that we will be back next week. As far as social media, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all those. Thank yous go out to our sponsors, legacy420.com and the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Plus a big thank you to our guest, Anthony Foster at Hamilton Vape. Thanks for coming on the program and talking to us. We'll see you at a rally sometime soon, man. We will. Plus, thank you to Tamara for getting here. Whether you're late, better late than never, as they say.
Right? I made it.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.